What if I told you that spending nearly $9,000 on your sister's dreams could get you completely cut off from your own family? Stick around because this story will make you question everything you thought you knew about unconditional love. Picture this, you're sitting there, double-checking a massive wire transfer, feeling proud that you're about to change someone's life forever. $8,600. That's not pocket change, right? That's months of saving, working double shifts, saying no to yourself so you can say yes to family. But then your phone buzzes with a message that changes everything in seconds. Meet Sarah. Well, let's call her that. She's been planning this moment for over a year. Her younger sister was finally moving overseas, chasing her dreams, starting fresh in a new country. And Sarah? She was the one making it all possible. The flights, the deposits, the visa fees, even putting her own name on the lease as a guarantor because her sister didn't have local credit. This wasn't just financial support. This was pure love in action. Sarah had been working 2 jobs, cutting every corner, skipping nights out with friends, all to fund her sister's big adventure. She even helped with all the paperwork, spent hours on calls with immigration offices, basically became a one-woman support system. So when her sister planned a farewell party, Sarah was excited. Finally, a chance to celebrate together, to see her family acknowledge all the sacrifices she'd made. She was probably already picking out what to wear, imagining the speeches, the thank yous, the recognition. But at exactly 4:12 that afternoon, reality hit like a freight train. Hey, you're not invited to my farewell. It's family only. Family only. Let that sink in for a second. The person who literally funded this entire dream wasn't considered family enough to attend the goodbye party. Can you imagine that feeling? The confusion, the hurt, the absolute shock of being told you don't belong after you've just emptied your savings account? Sarah's heart was racing, her face burning with embarrassment and disbelief. But wait, it gets worse. Before she could even process that first blow, another message arrived, this time from Mom. Honey, don't make this awkward. Just let her have her day. Don't make this awkward. She wasn't the one making it awkward. She was the one being excluded from a celebration she had literally paid for. The audacity is unbelievable, right? And this is where most people would probably cry, beg, or try to negotiate their way back in. But Sarah, she chose a different path. Something cold and final clicked inside her. If they wanted to treat her like an outsider, she was going to act like one, and she was going to protect herself for once. So what did she do? She pulled out her phone and started undoing everything. Every single financial commitment she'd made. The wire transfer, frozen. Her name on the lease, removed. The safety net she'd provided, gone. Within hours, Sarah had systematically dismantled the entire support structure that was holding her sister's dreams together. And honestly, good for her. But the family's reaction was, well, let's just say they showed their true colors pretty quickly. First came the panic. Her sister started with the guilt trips. Why are you ruining this for me? I trusted you. You always make everything about yourself. The entitlement is staggering, isn't it? The same person who had just excluded her from the family gathering was now acting like Sarah owed her something. Like Sarah was being unreasonable for withdrawing support after being told she wasn't family. Then Dad jumped in with a voice note that revealed exactly what kind of people we're dealing with here. His voice was shaking with rage. What have you done? You're going to destroy this family. Destroy the family? Sarah hadn't destroyed anything. She'd just stopped paying for people who couldn't even call her family. There's a difference between destroying something and refusing to enable it. But here's the really telling part. Throughout this entire meltdown, not one person acknowledged what they'd done wrong. Not one apology for the exclusion. Not one recognition of how hurtful their actions had been. Instead, they doubled down on blaming Sarah for having boundaries. The messages kept coming throughout the night, her sister cycling through every manipulation tactic in the book. Anger, tears, guilt, back to anger. It was like watching someone flip through a handbook of emotional abuse, desperately trying to find something that would still work. But here's what's beautiful about this story. None of it worked anymore. Sarah had finally seen the truth, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Meanwhile, the practical consequences were piling up. Without Sarah's financial backing, the apartment lease was falling through. The airline tickets were getting canceled. The whole carefully constructed plan was collapsing, because it had been built on taking advantage of someone's love. And the family's response? More threats, more guilt, more attempts to paint Sarah as the villain. Dad's final voice note was particularly revealing. "You have ruined this entire family. You have humiliated us beyond repair. You will never be welcome in our lives again." Never welcome again? For refusing to fund a party she wasn't invited to? The irony would be funny if it wasn't so cruel. But you know what? Sarah felt relief. For the first time in years, she felt like she could breathe, because she'd finally stopped setting herself on fire to keep other people warm. Think about it. She'd been working 2 jobs, sacrificing her own dreams, her own comfort, her own future, all to support people who saw her as nothing more than a walking ATM. And the moment she stopped paying, they showed her exactly what she meant to them. Which was nothing. Now here's where the story gets really interesting. A week later, when the dust had settled and the guilt trips had stopped working, Sarah started experiencing something she hadn't felt in years: peace. She cleaned out her apartment, throwing away old family photos, birthday cards with fake sentiments, receipts for money she'd handed over. Year after year, it was like purging toxic memories, making room for something better. The sister posted carefully filtered photos on social media, talking about fresh starts and big dreams, but mysteriously forgetting to mention how she was supposed to fund this adventure. The comments were full of people praising her bravery, celebrating her independence, completely unaware of the real story. And Sarah? She felt free, because she knew the truth, even if no one else did. Here's what this story really teaches us. Love without respect isn't love at all. It's exploitation with emotional manipulation sprinkled on top. When someone can accept your sacrifices but not your presence, when they can take your money but not your feelings into account, that's not family, that's business. Sarah spent years believing that if she just gave enough, sacrificed enough, supported enough, they would finally see her value. But the brutal truth is that people who see you as a resource will never see you as a person. And sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is walk away, even from family, especially from family who treat you like an employee rather than a loved one. The real tragedy here isn't that Sarah lost her family. It's that she never really had them to begin with. What she had was a role: the fixer, the wallet, the person who solved problems and disappeared when it was time for credit or celebration. But now she has something better. She has herself, her dignity, her boundaries, her future. And you know what? That's worth more than any family that comes with a price tag. So if this story resonates with you, if you've ever been the one funding dreams you weren't allowed to celebrate, if you've ever been told you're not family enough after proving your love through sacrifice, remember Sarah's story. Remember that you have the power to say no. You have the right to be treated with respect, and you deserve people in your life who value your presence, not just your presence. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is stop trying to buy love from people who are never going to sell it to you anyway. What do you think? Was Sarah right to cut off the funding? Or should family loyalty come before personal respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know where you stand on this one. And if this story opened your eyes to some uncomfortable truths about relationships in your own life, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more real talk about the complicated world of family dynamics. Because trust me, we're just getting started with these kinds of stories. Until next time, remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you shouldn't have to pay for a seat at your own family table.